Chelsea Football Club are making a habit of getting dunked on by Paris Saint-Germain within the transfer market, and more importantly, Hakim Ziyech is out and he relieves some half-truths. He tells us some things that are difficult to hear, but as Chelsea fans we need to embrace it, we need to accept it, and more importantly, we can't get upset at him. And finally, when it comes to loaning a player, it is imperative you get the key fundamental things right, the football aspects and personal life. And in Santos's case and Angelo's case, evidently Chelsea have potentially let both players down because the Nottingham Forest manager comes out with explosive comments that if I'm Chelsea's board, big man, you're never getting a loan player out of us again. I promise you. Any loan player you can offer to pay 10 million, you're not getting him, because it is disrespectful. It is public humiliation for Andrea Santos, in my opinion, what Steve Cooper did. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Kavkas View, bratuki. You made it this far. Clearly you like the running order and you understand that I don't lack the motivation that Nicholas Jackson evidently does. That's why he's asking for pictures. But that's allegedly. We ain't going to talk about that. It's not that kind of channel. We talk about football related issues here. But more importantly, if you made it this far, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. We're aiming for 750 likes on this video. It's the best way you guys can support it. It's free of charge. Secret, don't tell no one. And more importantly, subscribe if you made it this far, because clearly enjoying the content and you will be back for more. I found out yesterday, by the way, 77% of people that watch my channel always come back to watch more. So if you've ever watched my channel, out of 100 people, 77 people will come back and watch. Impressive. YouTube, start suggesting it more. So Fabrizio Romano's in his prime now. Like, if you're Fabrizio Romano, you must wish, yeah, January, June, July, August never ends, because that's when he makes cake. And when I say cake, I mean money. When I say money, I mean moolah. And when I say moolah, I mean peas, and we can do this all day. But the reality is, Fabrizio Romano must take home crazy amount of money during the transfer windows. And listen, good for him. I respect it. Keep doing what you do. There's a reason he's as reputable as he is, and people go to him. He's consistent, he's reliable, and more importantly, he's an ITK. He's an in the know. So we love it, we accept it. But he has openly come out now and basically said it is critical time for the Gabriel Mercado deal to either Chelsea or PSG. What do we know? At this moment in time, Fabrizio is saying Chelsea have no plans to make a bid. Chelsea are not interested in the player. The player is set on going to PSG. PSG are making a bid under 25 million euros, and the player sees a pathway. And this deal is most likely going to get done. Now, you've got me here to decipher what's been said from past, present, and potentially in the future. Because the reality is, this story is going to evolve. We know that. What do we know? We know that on deadline day, Chelsea put in a just under 25 million euros bid for the Corinthians youngster, the 17-year-old. The bid was rejected. Then the president of Corinthians said, no thank you, we don't want to accept this bid. The season went on, the players got more minutes, more and more traction, mainstream media started knowing him, and clubs who were scouting him at that point all of a sudden want to go in now for him. Chelsea have been touted to have wanted the player. The rumours are having that Todd Bowley is convinced. However, a week or two ago, we had the Corinthians former player on his TV show come out and say the deal to Chelsea is done. We've accepted it, that's the reason he didn't play. The new presidency that might potentially come in is going to sell him. A bid is in place. Fabrizio's come out and debunked that completely. He said it's not true. And he even went as far as to say there's been no bid placed. That doesn't make sense, because we've got evidence that Fabrizio and other journalists said that a bid was placed in the past. So why would Chelsea in 4 months just change their tune? What I think has happened is this, and a lot of people aren't going to agree with it and not going to like it because it's hard to take. Chelsea have been getting dunked on by PSG consistently. Not on the football pitch, but in the office, right? The reality is we wanted Hakimi. We put the money on the table with Marina. We got outbid. Hakimi chose PSG. Then Ugarte. We chased Ugarte, we had a bid accepted. All of a sudden, PSG came in, matched our bid, blew us out the water with wages, and guess what happened? We got dunked on. Now Gabriel Mercado, we want him, we put the money on the table, and evidently, we get outbid again, and PSG are going to take the player. People are going to say, no Alex, it's not how it happened. The reality is, guys, Fabrizio gets his information from somewhere. So why can't it be from the Chelsea side of the story? Because what he's saying is very favourable towards Chelsea. It really is. It's like, oh, PSG have got a free run. When all the other reports are suggesting that not only do PSG not have a free run, Chelsea were concretely trying to get him. There were also reports from Brazil that suggested the player didn't see a pathway at Chelsea, and that's true, and we're going to talk about that next. The pathway and the development argument. Because the reality is, we get Gabriel Moscardo. What do we do with Gabriel Moscardo? Where does he play? Who is he? Is he even going to touch bench? Is he going to be a David Washington? An 18-year-old that's scoring beautiful flicks in training and everyone's getting gassed, but in reality, we're never going to see him for the first team for another 2 to 3 years. Like, that's not even a possibility. He hasn't even grown into his teenage body, let alone his man body just yet. He's very small. He's not ready for Premier League football. That's just my personal opinion. I want to hear yours. Do you not think at this moment in time I've deciphered the story correctly, or am I being a bit too critical and too analytical? Let me know. The next story we're going to talk about is Angelo and his homesickness and his inability to acclimatize to life within Strasbourg. What has happened? Well, like keeps coming out with a story that Angelo's really struggling to settle in, and not on the football pitch but off the pitch. The man is struggling to acclimatize to the culture, to communicate with his teammates, purely based on the fact that he can't speak French, so he's struggling. And guys, anybody that's ever moved a job or has moved countries understands the difficulty of that. The reality is we need to communicate with people. It's hard to build relationships when you don't speak the same language. You have to be very extroverted and you need to go above and beyond to make those relationships. So for me, I'm not shocked by this. What I am shocked by is Chelsea are leaving him high and dry there. The reality is we should have sent Santos with him to Strasbourg. If you look at the picture, if you look at what happened at pre-season, Santos and Angelo were inseparable. They were together, they were doing interviews in Portuguese, they were taking this Chelsea experience together. They were of the same age. What should have happened is both of them should have went on loan to Strasbourg. Both of them should have been working under Patrick Vieira. Angelo been balling out the way he is. Santos getting the minutes and potentially balling out the way he would be, as I think in that league, just toughening up and acclimatizing to European football and living together. Building that relationship so when they come back to Chelsea, A, they practice English classes together, they could learn French if they want to, and more importantly, just build a chemistry and a unity that is needed. But Chelsea didn't do that. Kid feels homesick. If you look at it in reality, he has been actually very good for Strasbourg. Like, yes, the goals and assists aren't there, but the overall performance. I watched the compilation yesterday of him. I read people's reviews of his game, people that I respect. Very positive. The compilation looked very good. He is a player that suits Chelsea. He doesn't suit the way Strasbourg play. Strasbourg play very defensive and hit teams on the break. Angelo, in my opinion, doesn't have the pace nor the physicality to do that. What Angelo does have is tight control, his inability for 1-2 link-ups. He is a perfect deep block merchant. He will be able to open deep blocks for fun with his tight control, his 1-2 combinations, and his range of passing. Yesterday, he won us a penalty. Strasbourg is Chelsea B technically, so we're going to accept it. He won us a penalty and they lost the game 2-1, but it was good development. His reputation is really growing. Who's a player's reputation that isn't growing is Steve Cooper's about Andres Santos. Steve Cooper spoke about it. He said, look, it's a very competitive environment. If you look at the Premier League, there aren't many players at the age of 18 playing regular minutes in the Premier League. And the reason is, it's very hard. So Santos needs to accept that. And more importantly, he's not our player. He's Chelsea's player. That right there is the reason you don't loan players out. That right there, he would have been better served to sit at Chelsea and done the Ogochukwu method, as I like to call it. Learn, bit part minutes, cup game here, one-off occasion game here. Learn, develop what Washington's doing. Whilst Washington's not on loan and playing minutes somewhere, he would have most probably went and had the Santos treatment. But yeah, he's playing under 21 minutes, he's getting bit part minutes off the bench, and he's training with top quality players every day. You don't think he's learning stuff off them? You don't think every single day he's getting a little bit better? Those comments, for me, are disgusting because they're confirming what we know is true. And more importantly, not only are they confirming that, also isolating, like, we don't care if you don't loan us players in the future. I don't want Chelsea doing business with Nottingham Forest on loan basis ever again. Until that manager's gone, until their board apologizes, I don't want to see our players going there. What is the point? The reality is, we just wasted 4 months of development of Santos. Yes, he's gone there, he most probably trained with Sangare and other players, and could gain some like skill sets that he's learned off them. But it would have been better if he stayed at home at Chelsea, being under the stewardship of Maurizio Pochettino, and we all would have loved that more. The final story is a story where a lot of people are going to say, Alex, are we really going to talk about this? I think we should. Because, guys, what is important in life, no matter what you do, whether you're a footballer, a fireman, a policeman, a cleaner, office worker, a petrol worker, like anything you do in life, right? No matter what you do, you need to have self-awareness. And more importantly, you need to have reflection. And what Ziyech is doing now is really displaying to me that Ziyech has a lot of self-awareness and more importantly reflection in his life, because he sat down and he spoke about what happened at Chelsea and he took no shots at Chelsea. Like, they weren't shots, because shots are when you're angry and you're blaming people. Ziyech was very open and honest about what transpired, and the clarity he gave, he could have went into a lot more details that would have made us look very, very bad. He didn't. He said, look, I joined the club, no stability with managers. That's true. Tuchel didn't sign Ziyech. Lampard signed Ziyech. Lampard signed Ziyech. We see the best out of Ziyech. After we see a little bit of the best out of Ziyech, Ziyech's form drop. Tuchel comes in, we win the Champions League. Okay. Then we had Potter. Then he had a failed transfer. Then he had Lampard again. You're seeing the trend there already, right? Instability. That's true. You didn't lie. Secondly, he speaks about his failed move to PSG. The guy was in Paris. He got off at Gare du Nord. He went to Parc de France and asked for a move. The deal was set to happen. Chelsea didn't get his paperwork done. What kind of negligence is this? It's unacceptable. A club of Chelsea's caliber should not be doing that, right? That is what was reported. Allegedly, that's what happened. He's basically confirmed it. He was upset. They wasted 6 months of his career. Now he's on a loan till the end of the season at Galatasaray, where they can pick up the option to sign him. But Chelsea get no money for it because there was no fee agreed. Let that sink in, how mad that is. Then the final part that he also said, which was very interesting. He said, we had players to make 3 teams. We had 14 men at training. That's a big mess. That's not going to work. And it's something that I preach. I literally stand here and I'm telling you lot consistently, too many options is bad. I rather have not enough options than too many options. I rather know what I have and go with what I have and prep for what I have than go with so many different options that I don't know how to use them. The fact the club has 6 wingers on the book is disgusting. We have 2 winger positions. Why do we need 6 man? Like, I don't care. People say, oh, injuries happen. Okay, cool. Have kids. Have the kids that can come through. This is your youth systems for. The reality is sometimes you should get bad luck and bad injury. We don't need so many. Like, Noni Madueke is getting wasted at Chelsea football. He's too good to be sitting on the bench. He's too good to be bench warming. He should not be doing that role. Omari Hutchinson should be the bench player at Chelsea this year. That's my honest opinion. I don't know what you lot think. But I respect Ziyech a lot. I just think Ziyech was at Chelsea at the wrong time. I don't think Ziyech was ever the Chelsea quality, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I think Ziyech is very limited in what he can do. I think Ziyech's brilliance is amazing. However, Ziyech's consistency is a story to behold. It's something we need to talk about. It's something that should be documented and there should be a film made on it because he's just very inconsistent. This was the case at Ajax. This was the case at Chelsea. This was the case at Galatasaray. We don't need to lie about it. So, guys, if you made it this far, you guys are the real G's. I really appreciate every single one of you. Normally, we'd be dropping pineapples. Today, I think we're going to be dropping peaches, all right? Let's make the comment section, drop a peach in the comment section. That makes me know that you lot made it this far, and it makes me appreciate and start recognizing your names in the comments. And when I recognize your names in the comments, I'm more likely to respond, because I'm not gonna lie, you lot have been messaging me like crazy. I am loving the responses I'm getting to this video. It just shows that we're building a community. You're all keeping it respectful. You're interacting with each other, and that for me is super important. Like I said, 750 likes. Subscribe if you made it this far. See you guys for the tomorrow review. It's gonna be massive. It's gonna be dope. Hopefully Chelsea win. Peace out. I'm out. Hasta luego.